Cave Hill campus of the University of the West Indies. I am Marika Williams.
And I am John Tange, a second-year law student at the campus.
And we will be bringing you live coverage of this morning's proceedings. This is our first graduation ceremony for the day. As is customary, we have two ceremonies, one this morning from 10 o'clock and the second at 5 o'clock at 5 this evening for the students of the Faculty of Social Sciences. And what we're seeing here now is the Chancellor's procession. We just saw the Chief Marshal, Dr. Donley Carrington, and he is followed by other members of the Chancellor's procession. But this morning today we have 1,274 students who will be graduating from the UWI Cave Hill campus.
How many of these are undergraduates? How many of these are postgraduates, Maricla?
And we have, in the undergraduate class, we have 914 undergraduates and 360 postgraduates. And among the undergrads, there are 109 graduating with first-class honors, as well as 328 upper second-class honors and 286 lower second-class honors. And in the Faculty of Medical Sciences, one student will graduate with a distinction, and 9 others have completed their course of study with honors. So we are also seeing at the postgraduate level, 1 student is receiving high commendation and 69 are graduating with distinction, and 115 are being awarded merit this morning.
This continues the university's legacy over 75 years of resilience and scholarly acumen. The theme for this morning is Pelicans in an AI-driven future where tradition meets tomorrow. And I think this theme really encapsulates the position the world is in.
Indeed. Thank you very much, John. And we will now
Please be
over to the proceedings where we will have an address from the Chancellor, Dr. the Most Honorable Doddridge Miller.
The Honorable Charles Griffith, Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment of Barbados, the Honorable Keith Bell, Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal of the Bahamas, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, Minister for Education, Youth, Sports and Culture of Grenada, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Senate, Vice Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman of Campus Council, Dr. Tricia Tanis, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal, Cave Hill Campus, Professor R. Clive Landis, other distinguished members of the Platform Party, distinguished honorary graduate Mr. Pierce Antonio Rudder, valedictorian Miss Destiny Yard, members of the alumni, graduating class of 2025, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning, graduates, and good morning to your families, your lecturers, your mentors, and all who have walked this journey with you. Today, we gather not merely to mark the end of an academic chapter, but to celebrate the beginning of a new Caribbean story, one that you, the class of 2025, are uniquely positioned to assist in crafting. You did not arrive here by accident. You arrived through sacrifice, through resilience, through nights of study and days of doubt, through balancing, in some cases, work and school, family and ambition, hardship and hope. You arrived through hurricanes, both literal and metaphorical. You arrived through the pandemic's lingering shadows, through economic uncertainty, through the quiet battles that no one saw, but you endured nevertheless. A good example of this is a young lady who will graduate this afternoon, Ms. Hyacinth Stout, a visually impaired student who proudly joins the UWITV graduating class of 2025 after completing her undergraduate degree in psychology and management with lower second-class honors. Her journey could not have been an easy one, but she endured nevertheless. Congratulations to the class of 2025, you've made it. You have not only completed your course of study, but you've also grown intellectually, emotionally, socially. You represent the best of our region. And your growth does not stop here. Your journey continues not just academically, but as leaders in your communities and as guardians of our shared future. You are graduating into a global environment increasingly shaped by national self-interest, where the idea of shared responsibility for the prosperity of mankind is fading, where the preservation of our way of life for all is no longer guaranteed, where climate change, inequality, and conflict threaten the very fabric of our collective future. And yet, here you are, standing tall or sitting, ready. As graduates of the University of the West Indies, you stand on a solid foundation. You have been equipped with knowledge, perspective, and the ability to think critically. In addition, you have inherited the legacy of decades of Caribbean leadership in many important areas. In climate justice, where small island states have led the global call for action and accountability, where from Barbados to Bahamas, our leaders are demanding climate justice, not for ourselves, but for vulnerable nations everywhere. In social equity, where Caribbean thinkers, artists, and activists continue to challenge inequality, colonial legacies, and systemic bias, where our voices shape the conversation on reparation, demanding equity and human dignity. In sports, where our athletes have shown the world that excellence knows no borders, and where heart and discipline can achieve, where for decades our cricketers dominated world pitches with their skills and professionalism. And yet, this level of leadership and more are required now. In this still evolving new environment, you are not just graduates, you're builders, you're architects. You're the designers of a Caribbean that refuses to be defined by size, by limitation, or by the outdated assumptions of others. You're part of the generation that must reset the agenda. You must chart a path to a more enlightened future, one that values cooperation over competition, one that sees diversity not as a challenge, but as a strength, one that understands that the Caribbean's voice is not a whisper, it is a force. In this emerging environment, you are not just graduates, you are the architects of Caribbean possibility. Class of 2025, you are the generation that understands that knowledge is borderless, that technology is a great equalizer, that size is no longer an insurmountable limiting factor, that a small island can produce world-class innovation, that a village in Antigua, a district in Jamaica, a parish in Barbados, a town in Trinidad can be the birthplace of global solutions. You are the generation that knows that excellence is not imported, it is cultivated, it is homegrown, it is Caribbean. And so today I invite you to see yourselves not just as graduates of a university, our university, but as stewards of a region, our region, as custodians of a rich legacy, as the ones who will shape the economies, the institutions, and the values of a Caribbean that is ready to rise. Let us be clear. The Caribbean has long been underestimated. We have been told that we are too small to matter, too fragmented to lead, too dependent to thrive. But you know better. You know that our size is not a weakness, it is our strength. It allows us to be agile, to be bold, and to be united in purpose. You know that our diversity is not a barrier, it is a treasure. It gives us perspective, creativity, and resilience. You know that our history is not a weight. It is a foundation. It reminds us of what we have overcome and what we are capable of. So let us respond by being an example that others can scarce ignore. Let us build systems that work, Let us foster cultures of integrity, innovation, and inclusion. Let us show the world what Caribbean excellence really looks like. And even then, the future will not be given to us. It must be claimed. So class of 2025, go claim it. Claim it with your ideas, with your startups, with your research, with your art, with your activism, with your leadership in boardrooms, in classrooms, in parliaments, and in communities. Claim it by refusing to accept mediocrity, by demanding transparency, by building institutions that serve the people, not just the powerful. Claim it by embracing technology, not as a tool of consumption, but as a platform for creation. Use it to solve problems, to connect markets, to educate minds, to amplify Caribbean voices across the globe. Claim it by investing in knowledge, not just degrees, but wisdom, not just credentials, but character. Claim it by remembering that the Caribbean is not a place, it is a promise of warmth, of brilliance, of possibility. Class of 2025, you are the guardians of that promise. You are the ones with the knowledge, creativity, and understanding to make a difference. The ones who can take our economies from extraction to innovation, from vulnerability to resilience, from imitation to leadership. You are the ones who can show that our region is not peripheral, but pivotal. You are the ones who can remind the world when the Caribbean dreams, it dreams in color, in rhythm, in brilliance, in courage. And so as you step forward today, I ask you to carry three things with you. First, carry your story. Never forget where you came from. Whether you grew up in a fishing village or a bustling city, whether you were raised by one parent or many, whether you face hardships or privilege, your story matters. It is your compass, it is your power. Second, carry your responsibility. You are not just individuals, you're part of a collective, a Caribbean collective that needs your voice, your vision, your integrity. So lead with humility, serve with purpose, and build with others. And third, carry your hope. The world will test you. It will challenge your ideals. It will tempt you to settle. But do not lose your hope. It is your fuel. It is your fire. It is the light that would guide you when the path is unclear. Graduates of 2025, you are ready. You're ready to build economies that are inclusive, sustainable, and bold. You're ready to challenge the status quo. You're ready to lead not just with intellect, but with heart. You're ready to show the world what the Caribbean can do. So I urge you, go forward, go proudly, go purposefully. And above all, never forget, you are UWI, you are Caribbean, you are unstoppable. Congratulations, class of 2025. The future is yours to shape. Before we move on to the main program this morning, I want to acknowledge a unique graduation event for 2025. Today, we have a mother and a daughter graduating at the same graduation. Mother and daughter duo, Dr. Janet Carew and Amy Carew will share a significant milestone as they both graduate in 2025. Dr. Carew with her PhD and Amy with her BSc honors. Their achievement is the culmination of a long journey filled with challenges, moments of doubt, and the preservation required to keep moving forward, especially in times when giving up felt easier. For both women, crossing the stage together is more than an academic triumph. It is a double reward that celebrates the power of persistence and the unique joy of sharing such a life-changing moment with one's close relative. Join me in congratulating Dr. Carew and her daughter Amy on this significant achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, we are met today in order that we may mark by a formal ceremony the entry of certain of our members into the company of graduates and the academic achievement of others. As a university, we are an academic society of bachelors, undergraduates, masters, and doctors, and we follow the academic tradition in the pursuit of knowledge and the encouragement of learning. purposes which are laid down in the preamble to the Royal Charter, by which we have been granted the powers needful for the prosecution of our affairs. In pursuing these aims, our members advance from time to time to a higher standing in the academic community, and it is proper that as a body we should celebrate their achievement. It is marked by the granting of a degree or diploma or license or certificate, and we rejoice with our graduates on their achievement. Thank you. Good morning.
I now ask the public orator, Dr. Kenneth Connell, to present Mr. Pierce Antonio Rudder, whom the Senate and the Council of the University have been pleased to recommend for the award of the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
Chancellor, I present to you a man who has danced, thundered, and soared across the stage, a very hot stage, of Caribbean culture. Allow me to summon the full fanfare of words to introduce a man whose every heartbeat pulses with rhythm, vision, and unbridled passion, Mr. Pierce Antonio Boo Rudder. Chancellor, picture, if you will, a dawn of a Barbadian morn, a rosy sun cresting Eagle Hall's verdant hills, a proud Barbadian father, a spirited Trinidadian mother, and the expectant hush of a midwife named Burks. No lullaby would do. Instead, she delivered young Antonio with a deliberate handshake, an omen, perhaps, that this child would grip destiny firmly and never let it go. From the electric first moment, the world would know a force named Boo. At Eagle Hall Primary, he was already bewitching classmates with tales of far-off worlds. At the Lodge School, another great academy, this time in St. John, he brandished puns in debate as if they were sabers cutting through complacency, summoning laughter and applause. By sixth form, he had textbooks cheering in their spines, longing to be quoted by his prodigious scholar of English and history. And then the curtain rises on his public service debut. The Auditor General's office quivered at his approach. Every ledger held its breath. Next, at R.M. Jones and Company, he prowled through tariffs like a maestro conducting a symphony of balance sheets. Yet for all his fiscal finesse, another siren call beckoned, the irresistible lure of music. Chancellor, picture Boo, a self-taught marvel, coaxing resonant steel pan melodies from spunky tenors and pounding drums. With the merry men, he carried Caribbean sunshine from Grenada's sugary sands to the verdant slopes of Guadeloupe, and even, Chancellor, the Olympic Village in Montreal, alit with his jackpot of joy in 1976. Under his baton, the steel drum became a global ambassador. Each note a handshake across oceans. But wait, there's more, Chancellor. Cue the spotlight on the Blue Rhythms combo, where Antonio Boo Rudder handpicked a constellation of saxophonists, guitarists, and keyboardists. Together, they wove jazz, calypso, and funk into an electrifying tapestry that pulse through dance floors and festival stages alike. As band leader, mentor, and architect, he opened doors for Barbadian musicians to explore daring new sounds without ever losing our island's heartbeat. Chancellor, from the stage to the storefront, our honorary next donned the cap of entrepreneur. For 24 years, Steve's Dry Cleaning, under his stewardship, became legendary. Some customers would swear they saw choreographed dances of iron and steam, each garment pressed to perfection, as though applauding his innovator's spirit. Yet, even as crowd cheers, Antonio never strayed from the public realm. He co-founded the National Cultural Foundation, produced the first Calypso finals at the National Stadium, and twice helmed the organization, each tenure blossoming with new festivals, programs, initiatives that made culture the very livelihood of Barbados. On the stage, his diplomacy at UNESCO dazzled. As president of the expert group on cultural diversity, he championed in the intangible, storytelling, craftsmanship, the warm timbre of a steel drum at dusk. His deft negotiations with the British Performing Rights Society liberated Barbadian composers, birthing the Copyright Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, COSCAP, and securing a fortress of musical rights at Black Rock. And sport, you ask, Chancellor? Consider the image of Antonio the marksman, cadet trained, Commonwealth and Pan American representative, then guiding the Barbados Rifle and Pistol Association for 3 decades, crafting safety standards as exacting as his aim, and mentoring young athletes to find harmony between discipline and grace. Through it all, his greatest masterpiece has really been his family. For 43 glorious years, he and his beloved wife have composed a duet more sublime than any symphony, raising Claire and Antonio Jr., now luminaries in their own right. Chancellor, if life were a theater, Mr. Pierce Antonio Burrudder would stand center stage as author, director, and star, a whirlwind of creativity, compassion, and command. His journey shows that boundaries exist only to be transcended, and that culture, when wielded with courage, can unite nations. Chancellor, with the collective beat, the rhythmic beat of our Caribbean hearts, I invite you to confer upon Mr. Pierce Antonio Burrudder the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, in recognition of his extraordinary service to the arts, to commerce, to public service, and to the vibrant tapestry of Barbadian culture that he has elevated time and again to dazzling new heights.
I will now invite Dr. Pierce Antonio Rudder to address the company.
Good morning. I've had a number of requests as to whether I have my speech and if I have my notes. I'm prepared. Chancellor, dignitaries, Vice Chancellor, and members of the Platform Party, graduating class of 2025, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, I say, good morning, everyone. I would like, first of all, to thank the University of the West Indies for granting me the privilege of the honorary degree of Doctor of Literature. Today, we live in a world dominated by the growing value of intellectual property rights, together with the exponential growth of digitization reaching into every aspect of our existence with the utilization of artificial intelligence. Whether we are prepared to accept it or not, AI opens the door to new innovations and economic growth. It is also abundantly clear that copyright industries contribute enormously to the gross domestic product of the world's leading economies. Let me state here that copyright is not a latter-day concept. In the late 1400s, the Republic of Venice, with other European countries, introduced partial monopolies and privileges for particular literary works. The United Kingdom's Statute of Queen Anne's in 1710 was the first piece of copyright legislation, as it permitted authors and publishers to own their own works for a specified time. The United States of America then assumed the torch with their Copyright Act of 1790. The Berne Convention of 1889 further expanded this Copyright Act substantially and internationally. In Barbados and the Caribbean, there's a marked negativity to the acceptance of the fact that authors, artists, and other rights holders who have created and produced these copyrighted works should be fairly remunerated for the use of their works by others. We are essentially, as many of you know, a free use society. It is there, we use it. We have no respect for the owners of the copyright, and we seem not to understand the true value and the need to protect the rights of authors and publishers. There has always been robust debate about fair and equitable use and how it can be achieved. I do believe that licensing is the key to addressing the complexities of fair use. Furthermore, considering that many persons in this audience have or will in time own intellectual property, it is critical for all of us here today to appreciate that licensing allows for the negotiation of the conditions of use in a digital age, and moreover, that conditions attaching thereto are respectful and protected and allow for their exclusive nature to be appropriately compensated. Let me explain that. Owners of copyright are by law granted exclusive rights in their works, which allow them the freedom to sell their works, to broadcast these rights in the cases of music and print, and to distribute their books or paintings. All other persons seeking to use those works must receive written permission from the rights owner. It is referred to as intangible property. And like house and/or land, the owner can use or dispose of them as he or she sees fit within the limitations of the law. An educational system that recognizes that rights can be created in every area of endeavor should lay the foundation that will preserve the authors' and producers' interests, as well as to provide incentive for new works. Licensing options offered by rights holders, including direct and collective licensing in all iterations, are essential for mitigating or eliminating liability under copyright. Unlike reliance on exceptions and limitations, a licensing-based approach can cover a broad range of restricted acts necessary to train, develop, and commercialize AI systems. Exceptions have been employed by governments in their legislative frameworks to facilitate some aspects of private copying. But the Berne Convention stipulates that in order for exceptions to prevail, they must pass the three-step test. It must be a special case, it must not conflict with the normal exploitation of work, and three, it must not unreasonably prejudice the legitimate interests of authors and owners of copyright. And that is particularly critical because over time, we have seen governments bow to the pressure of lobbying from big companies, which places the rights of owners of copyright in jeopardy. Now, clearly, those rights must be protected, and while one can appreciate that governance is not a simple matter and that governments will cater, obviously, to where the money comes from, it is incredibly important that the works which people produce should not be exploited to their detriment. And that is the problem in many cases. When we look at TV these days, there are many instances where we see that X or Y program is not or will not be available. And that is essentially because of the impact of digital rights management. So radio stations are not free to use people's work except they have negotiated the terms and conditions under which they can do so by constructive licensing agreements. And that is why I said earlier that there is critical importance to the whole concept of licensing, because I believe that licensing will and can assist in making the works accessible to all those who have respect for the work and want to use it. Carfesta, for example, has brought the cultural industries and its practitioners into the spotlight. But the glib talk about monetization of culture will only be satisfactorily achieved when the intellectual property that resides in many of these products is respected and properly remunerated. The fact, for example, that famous musicians, I may name a few, Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, and Prince, and other writers continue to grow their assets long after retirement is predicated on the appreciation of the accretion of value in their intellectual property. Right? Over time, the works which they produce became more and more valuable. And currently, most legislation provides for protection during the creator's life, plus 70 years after their death. As a matter of fact, I believe there is a proposal in Jamaica for 90 years after life. Clearly, they recognize the need to protect the work of Brother Bob Marley. In Barbados, despite the comprehensive legislation provided by governments over time, it is interesting that none has obtained a license from BCOPI for the use of intellectual property. I reiterate, not one government has found it necessary to obtain a license for the use of intellectual property. Regrettably, that is replicated with some consistency across the Caribbean. For example, at Carfesta 2009 in Guyana, it was envisaged that careful management of intellectual property rights could have been used to generate revenue for the festival, but that was a pipe dream. Guyana had no effective copyright legislation at the time, and government ignored the advice of the Festival Directorate that had been established through the CARICOM Secretariat to facilitate the production and development of Carfesta throughout the region. One senior government official proudly noted with some disdain that he who pays the piper calls the tune. So clearly they had no interest in accepting the advice to use the intellectual property generated in the festival to cover costs of the festival. The survival of business is dependent on the effectiveness of its ability to generate return on investment. And my perch on the hill tells me that any investment in cultural industries is destined for economic failure without the support of robust enforcement of copyright legislation and the economies of scale enabled through effective licensing of protected material. As Peter Drucker, the management guru, would have noted, profit is the ability to stay in business. The euphoria and hype emanating from Carfesta is inspiring. But the economic cooperation in a region known for its insularity leaves us working and dreaming. In fact, the stark realization that our survival resides in a construct of regional cooperation is a cause for concern. On the other hand, if we intend to survive the destructive forces of a global trust that seemingly denies our existence, it is now imperative of all that we stand together. West Indies cricket survives as a sometimes contentious and unpredictable regional experiment. The Caribbean Examinations Council and the University of the West Indies as functioning beacons that lead the way in productive cooperation. We can analyze these examples for guidance. At this time, it is certainly appropriate that I should commend the Cave Hill campus of the University of the West Indies for having obtained a license for the use of intellectual property from BCOPI. It took a decade of negotiation, but has been a beneficial exercise and served to relieve the frustrations of many rights owners. I also take time to inform that the reprographic rights organizations in the region have formed PEROSA, an umbrella organization for achieving greater efficiency in collective management of intellectual property within the region. Hopefully, these initiatives will enable an environment that will redound to the benefit of all citizens. I leave with you a quotation from my book, Marching to a Different Tremor. And I have a particular reason for leaving this quotation. I had a discussion with a famous Barbadian guitarist recently, and he lamented the fact that he was unable, after making many payments to the national insurance, to have the benefit of a pension. My quotation says, "The Barbadian landscape is dotted with the remains of frustrated artists who never understood that their vision of nirvana was not attainable on the mere promises of well-meaning politicians and administrators." My sincerest appreciation for your attention and continued success to everyone. Thank you.
We will now have a musical presentation by Barbados Community College Steel Band and the K-White Chorale.
Those days we rise above the stars, but I'll go the distance this time, seeing more the higher I climb. That the more I believe, or the more that this dream will be mine. If I could If I
special morning. Take me to a place.
Hey papa, ¿qué pasa? Boya, boya.
Boya,
Hey mama, ¿qué pasa? Boya, boya.
boya,
Colegas, ¿qué pasa? Boya, boya.
boya,
Put your hands like a heart in the air for that favorite time of year. Hey papa, ¿qué pasa? Boya, boya.
boya,
Hey mama, ¿qué pasa? Boya, boya. Colegas, ¿qué pasa? Boya, boya. Put your hands like a heart in the air for that favorite time of year.
We work so hard, as you we deserve a party. Tell everybody, let's get it started. All work and no play, we say, no way. We don't want a patata. I need a stress reliever. Two friends by my side and I right in the middle. For so long we've been waiting to mingle. For the sake of peace of mind, let we mingle. On the road is fair. You find me and my friend and them because we work so hard at UWI. We deserve a party. We deserve it. We deserve it. Tell everybody. Tell all your friends and them. Tell all your friends and them. Let's get it started. We work so hard at UWI. We deserve a party. We deserve it. Tell everybody. Tell all your friends and them. Let's get it started. We work so hard at UWI. We deserve a party. We deserve it. We deserve it. Tell everybody. Tell all your friends and them. Tell all your friends and them. Let's get it started. We work so hard at UWI. We deserve a party.
Sir, the persons whose names will be called are studied in the University of the West Indies. And having fulfilled the requirements of the University of the West Indies, beg leave to be presented to you and to the Senate of the University by the representatives of their respective faculties as Bachelors of Arts, Bachelors of Fine Arts, Bachelors of Education, Bachelors of Engineering, Bachelors of Laws, Bachelors of Health Sciences, Bachelors of Medicine and Bachelors of Surgery, Bachelors of Science, or as holders of diplomas or certificates of the University of the West Indies. Sir, the Dean, Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts, Professor David Akombo.
Sir, my colleagues and I ask you to receive as graduate members of our society these persons present who, having fulfilled the requirements of the university, have been admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Fine Arts of this university.
Are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer first degrees of this university.
For the Bachelor of Fine Arts, Justin Baird. First Class Honors, Jada Best. Jelaya Boyce. Alicia Griffith. Kweku Jelani. Taekwon Neblet. Alexander Newton. Neema Dhuo. Ashley Whitehall. First Class Honors, Miracle Williams.
Sir, the Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Education, Dr. Henderson Carter.
Sir, my colleagues and I ask you to receive as graduate members of our society these persons present who, having fulfilled the requirements of the university, have been admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Education of this university.
By the authority vested in me, I receive these persons whose names are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer first degrees of this university.
For the Bachelor of Arts, Carlin Barrow. First class honors, Trinity Blagrove. Latrice Clark. First class honors, Tanya Cox. Tanya Fenty. First class honors, Gabrielle Franklin. Faith Gale. First class honors, Sky Griffith. First class honors, Gina Harmsen. First class honors, Shioma Henry. Jade Hunt. First class honors, Keisha John. Sharon King. Kaya Lamboka King Bruce. Latoya Marshall. Shania McDowell. Gabrielle Miller. Terrell Neblett. First class honors, Denise Otway. Zaria Jackson. Giselle Paris Prescott. First class honors, Kiana President. Trezeguet Roberts. Lisana Sampson. First class honors, Kenisha Smith. Alyssa Taylor Clark. Chantal Ward. Shadisha Went. Jatonia Worrell. Caitlin Simmons. Adrian Yard. First class honors, Destiny Yard. Fallon Miller. Kiara Marshall. Deirdre Belgrave. Bria Olivier. Charisse Austin. For the Bachelor of Education, Kimberly Ordain. First class honors, Lizanne Bourne. Leona Graffett. Tawana Branker. Ariane Burke. Brittany Cummins. Mishada Hines. First class honors, Kanisha Howell. Lashante Eiffel. Andre Lowe. Jade Seeley. Zara Smith Barker. First class honors, Daniela Jacobs. Monica Joseph Paris. First class honors, Sharon Labor Julian. First class honors, Florence Mandley Bascom. Vonda Peters Doughty. Valerie Porter Castello. Brianne Ramsey. Marcella Richardson. First class honors, Danny Roberts. First class honors, Jolette Scott. First class honors, Alicia Thomas Ince. Trinity Thompson. Leah Waif. Shajira Williams. Roshana Reeves. Keisha Haynes. Tanisha Gibbons. Janelle Goodman. First class honors, Alvita Bob Jacobs.
Interim Dean, Faculty of Law, Dr. Antonius Hippolyte.
So, my colleagues and I ask you to receive as graduate members of our society these persons present who haven't fulfilled the requirements of the university have been admitted to the degree of Bachelor's of Laws of this university.
By the authority vested in me, I receive these persons whose names are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer first degrees of this university.
Dominic Aban. First class honors, Janil Alexander. Chelsea Ali. Christopher Allen. Catrice Allen. Javal Antoine. Shamir Benjamin. Sumara Ben. Richelle Bourne. First class honors, Deborah Bryan. Joel Courtney. Sierra Dean McCollin. First class honors, Crystal Debidin. Kyle Donaldson. Kathy-Ann Earl. First class honors, Wendell Edwards. Janine Gittens. Michael Goodin. Summer Goodin Edgel. Jonty Hart. First class honors, Josh Henry. Lloyd Year Henry. First class honors, Shumel Herman. Kerisha Hornson Hillier. First class honors, Caitlin Howard. First class honors, Akira James. Ariel Johnson. Colin Jordan. Ariel Maloney. Taiwana McBurney. Brian Mead. Samara Nurse. First class honors, Jodette Page. Ashana Nurse. First class honors, Celine Payne. Thais Sile. Teresa Sebastian. Afia Smith. Christina Stowe Gooden. Xavier Taylor. Christina Thomas. Jada Thomas. Zara Walker. Juma Walrond. Kyra Welch. Nikaya Worm. Jadio Worrell. Ya Marshall. Senate Streaker. With first class honors, Emily Howard. Tiara Hardin. First class honors, Nana Jima. Lenara Abraham. Yasmin Abraham. Heidi Bowen. Tiana Clue. Charlene Ford.
The Dean, Faculty of Medical Sciences, Dr. David Kohal.
Sir, my colleagues and I ask you to receive as graduate members of our society these persons present who, having fulfilled the requirements of the university, have been admitted to the degree of a Bachelor of Health Sciences, Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, Bachelor of Science, Human Nutrition and Dietetics, and Bachelor of Science, Nursing of this university.
By the authority vested in me, I receive these persons whose names are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer first degrees of this university.
For the Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, Ruvini Alain. With honors, Miranda Blackman. Joel Blackwood. Amberly Branson. Keela Codrington. With honors, Jody Da Silva. With honors, Raymond Farnham. Leferta George. Honors with distinction, Melania Gill. Michaela Griffith. Rishma Lalgi. Roel Mirage. Siddiqa Muhammad. Shade Trotman. With honors, Maisha Atherley. Pedrina Atherley. Leandra Batson. Carice Cox. Kamisha Harper. With honors, Zuri Hoyt. Dais Sylvester. Callisto Barrow. With honors, Gabrielle Pinnock. Julian Phillip. With honors, Marian Marquis. Alexandria Weatherhead. Anissa Bradshaw. For the Bachelor of Health Sciences. With first class honors, Jada Bess. For the Bachelor of Science, Human Nutrition and Dietetics, Shirlisa Griffith. With first class honors, Giovanni Boyce. With first class honors, Danae Gill. With first class honors, Daniel Griffith. Faith Older. With first class honors, Shakitha Hunt. With first class honors, Deidre Wood. For the Bachelor of Science, Nursing, Strinde Glasgow. Melanie Matthews. Ita Paul Charles. Althea Thompson.
Sir, the Dean, Faculty of Science and Technology, Dr. Janice Badenoch.
Sir, my colleagues and I ask you to receive as graduate members of our society these persons present who, having fulfilled the requirements of the university, have been admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science, Engineering, and Bachelor of Science, Science and Technology of this university.
By the order vested in me, I receive these persons whose names are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer first degrees of this university.
For the Bachelors of Engineering, Priya Oluteo. For the BSc Science and Technology, with first class honors, Stefan Adrian. Sapphire Alexander. Deonte Aline. Javon Aline. Leanne Aline. Dwayne Archer. Kajanda Belgrave. Jana Best. With first class honors, Jamila Best. Mario Best. Marlon Best. Kai Best Griffith. With first class honors, Tarika Birch. Rhea Bishop. With first class honors, Jason Boyce. Aaron Brathwaite. Mateo Brathwaite. With first class honors, Tamia Brathwaite. Ambia Brewster. Tamia Burke. With first class honors, Amy Carew. Jamila Carter. Donicia Charles. Crystal Chap. Kezia Clark. Caitlin Clark. Trinice Clark. Joshua Codrington. Tevin Cole. Nairobi Corbin. Romario Cotto. Jonathan Cummins. With first class honors, Romelia De Brio. Shante De Santos. With first class honors, Hadia Daniel. With first class honors, Joanna De Olivier. Rory Dottin. Taj Dottin. Zach Drayton. With first class honors, Rihanna DePigney. Khadija Edward. Khadija Edwards. With first class honors, Ethan Ellis. Julia Fairweather. With first class honors, Jaden Farrell. Alex Fingal. With first class honors, Dana Ford. Dylan Ford. Jared Ford. Odari Francis. Joshua Gajada. Rianne Gill. Shane Granham. With first class honors, Kayla Griffith. Aaliyah Griffith. Rashida Gums. With first class honors, David Hall. With first class honors, Andrew Humphrey. Jabari Hunt. Janelle Inks. With first class honors, Zachary James. With first class honors, Philip John. Danique Johnson. Denisha Jordan. With first class honors, Adara Joseph. Kalisa Kelly. Chad King. With first class honors, Jared Koon Koon. With first class honors, Adria Leben. Shamaya Lewis. Jalea Lovell. Alexia Lovell. Dario Mahan. Anderson Mears. Nadia Maynard. Chelsea McEwen. Talia Moore. Electra Moore. Chevian Nestville. Zion Nichols. Christiane Outram. Caitlin Oxley. Elan Paris. With first class honors, Melissa Patrick. Rajit Payne. Rico Sandiford. Rosario Scott. Cherise Simpson. Margot Springer. Shante Springer. Gabrielle Stedman. Jade Stevenson. Crystal Sarouge Paul. Angelique Talea. Darian Taylor Payne. Chelsea Victor. Benita Vidal. Faith Waith. Kashawn Waldron. Kenya Watson. Romario Watts. Tristan Weeks. Aaliyah Welch. Nathan Wilkinson. Keone Williams. Jaden Wood. Mikhail Yearwood. Rashana Foster. Jessica Green. Nikolai Holder. Melody Simmons. Khalida Smithen. Latanya Woods. Isasha Messiah.
Sir, representing the Dean, Faculty of Sport, Dr. Rudolph Aline.
Sir, my colleagues and I ask you to receive as graduate members of the society of these persons present who, having fulfilled the requirement of the university, have been admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sports Sciences of this university.
I receive these persons whose names are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer first degrees of this university.
Javon Andrew. Selena Arthur. Ricia Collett. Allison Gordon. Romy Holder. Zirili Jack. Adriana Joachim. Romani Luis Emmanuel. Sidel Nicholas. Harquin Noel. Eric Puckerin. Lex Smith. Sarah Springer. Kayla Thorpe. Joseph Sue. Kayla DePisa. Matthew Elliott. Stephian Shepard. Shinoa Benjamin.
I now call on the class valedictorian, Ms. Destiny Yard, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology with first class honors. To deliver the valedictory address.
Chancellor, dignitaries, Vice Chancellor, and other members of the Platform Party, graduating class of 2025, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am equally honored and in complete disbelief that I was selected to deliver this valedictory address this morning. Amid these emotions, to the class of 2025 who voted for me and the staff that aided in my preparation, I extend a heartfelt thank you. Before I proceed, I must confess that I Googled quotes to use for a valedictorian address. I scrolled for a moment before I realized the answer had been staring me right in my face. I recalled our orientation video, which carried the mantra, "One flies, all soar." I am sure our experiences stand as testaments of those 4 words. Like eagles, we emerge from our nest. Like eagles, we emerged from various secondary schools and colleges across the Caribbean to leave the nest and test our wings. Although some of us flapped frantically and others glided with the wind, these past years have been characterized by a togetherness that transcended each trial that was faced. Whether that trial be taking the leap of traveling to Barbados during a pandemic, stepping forward to accept the role of group leader when we knew we would rather not, or simply swallowing pride and asking another student for assistance, we flew together. Admittedly, achieving a degree in psychology gave me the upper hand in efficient self-diagnosis. Many of you know this feeling I am about to describe, even if you don't know what it's called. That feeling of being congratulated for something you felt was just your duty, or when you achieve your goal yet don't feel that sense of accomplishment, yes, that's imposter syndrome. I must admit that I am somewhat disappointed that after 3 years of studying psychology, my notes had no advice on how to silence these thoughts. For thoughts like these, graduates, do not negate that we have earned this moment of celebration. And speaking down on ourselves is not a characteristic of humility. It is self-sabotage. Acknowledge your efforts. It secures confidence in self. Sight and hearing impaired author Helen Keller has bequeathed to us a remarkable phrase, and it quotes, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." Missing one class at university level felt like we missed a semester's worth of information, but to those trusted classmates with detailed notes, we are grateful. The humility in acknowledging that there's always a more knowledgeable other fostered a healthy space for efficient study sessions. For many, the hardest part of the experience was the trek up the hill to Campus Mart, a journey that always felt shorter with a friend. Maybe it was the time spent with a stranger at a shuttle stop after being stranded, or the random friends we made in electives we chose. Many of us may have started with the mentality of coming in, earning a degree, and leaving. Instead, we joined clubs, became presidents, hosted culture nights, became class representatives, organized scrimmages. More than acting as a pastime, these experiences and people gave us a sense of belonging. Divided by faculty, but united by common goals, we embarked on this venture. I can boldly acknowledge that what began as unfamiliar faces covered by COVID masks has transformed into a sea of familiar faces. Even if I was not a part of your intimate study groups, it goes without saying that you have worked hard. My encouragement to each of you graduates is that your role is very important. Our region, in fact, the world, is counting on your innovations and technological advancements. Our lives are in your hands, and that goes beyond the role of our future doctors present. Considering the prevalence of artificial intelligence, I urge you to understand that these technologies were made to imitate the minds that program them. You are the true creative. You are the mastermind. Maintain your authenticity, and success shall follow. Look to your left and to your right. Amongst us are doctors, lawyers, professional athletes, entrepreneurs, teachers, and ministers. Although the wisdom you have acquired here is yet to be expanded, these first steps will build the foundation of our nation. The late night, early morning classes are finally over. We have worked hard and endured enough 2,500 word essays. It was more than movement, more than a voice, more than a lab, more than a speech, and more than a degree. It was an art. I wish to clarify that this is not meant to be achieved in a fragmented way, but rather with unity and oneness. In the words of the famous playwright Lin-Manuel Miranda, history has its eyes on you. Tomorrow needs us. It has been my tradition to establish and declare a word of the year. My words over these last 3 years have been impact, resilience, and effort. I wondered if God got a little confused by my declarations, because in this time my grandmother, the late Norma Nurse, passed away, and I enjoyed the worst eczema I had ever experienced. Eventually, it was made clear to me that resilience, impact, and effort would hold no weight if there was not a circumstance that demanded their presence. I encourage you to be mindful of the words you declare over your life and your year. I therefore present this scripture to you. Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 2 and 3. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak, and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. We each come from various backgrounds which have sown seeds with a promise of success. Arthur Smith Primary School's motto commands, aim high, be proud, seek humility, persevere, and success will be ours. The St. Michael School's motto asserts, nothing without help from God. These sentiments have bellowed in my heart, and I pray that they will echo in yours. I extend appreciation to my beloved family, both directly and by extension, as well as to my friends and comrades. I have come this far by grace and by prayer. I am sure you have also. Congratulations, my fellow graduates. Our wings are ready for higher heights. Thank you.
Sir, I now call on Professor Dwayne Devonish, Director, Graduate School, Graduate Studies and Research, to present to you members of our society for the award of high degrees and postgraduate certificates and diplomas.
Sir, I present to you these members of our society who, having fulfilled the requirements of this university, have been awarded postgraduate certificates and diplomas and have been admitted to master's degrees, and beg that you recognize their advancement in our society.
By the authority vested in me, I confer on these persons whose names are about to be called postgraduate certificates and diplomas and master's degrees of this university and recognize their advancements in our society.
For Master of Arts, Creative Arts, with merit, Keisha Dowridge. Kemal Marshall. With merit, Matsan Rock. For Master of Science in Food Security, with distinction, Jubilante Cuttin. For postgraduate certificate, University Teaching and Learning, Lynn Marie Lovell. For Master of Arts, Caribbean and African Theology, with distinction, Rosalind Harper Johnson. For Master of Arts, Caribbean Studies, Tiffany Ward. For Master of Arts, History, Claudine Mosley. For Master of Education, with merit, Renee Batson. With distinction, Renika Beckles. With merit, Olivia Bennett. Ashida Blendman. Keita Bowens. With distinction, Jocelyn Boyce. With merit, Melanie Brown. With merit, Danielle Chandler. Kamisha Clark. With merit, Tiffany Downs. With merit, Rosanna Evelyn. With merit, Dwayne Gill. With merit, Sasha Gill. With merit, Faith Griffith. With distinction, Christy Holder. Kennedy Kelman. Shamika Levine Jilts. With merit, Monda Lohman. With merit, Shanice Mears. With merit, Laura Nichols. With merit, Tara Perch. With distinction, Lisa Proverbs Ballantyne. Jalissa Ryan. Tiffany Scantlebury. Shakita Taylor. With merit, Daniela Thomas. With distinction, Alvicia Weatherhead. Nico Wiltshire. For Master of Laws, with merit, Micah Blackman. With distinction, Justin Boyce. Kershara Catlin. With merit, Zayamara Sharabin Forsyth. Beverly Clark. With merit, Ken Marie Cuffey Sargent. Renette DeMont. With distinction, Keitha Ellis. Jabari Garns. With distinction, Danielle Gibson. Sharon Harris. With merit, Marquita Haynes. With distinction, Shadiah Hines. With merit, Raynell Johnson. With distinction, Sharice Mason. With distinction, Rion Miller. With distinction, Danielle Nurse. With merit, Tara Payne. With distinction, Paul Prescott. With merit, Emil Ramkisoon. With merit, Regina Seeley. With merit, Nyasha Thompson. For double degree of Master of Laws and Executive Master in Business Administration. With merit, Yevida Guinness. For the Postgraduate Diploma in Family Medicine. With distinction, Khadija Gamble. Shantha Riley. For the Postgraduate Diploma in Health Policy and Health Systems. With distinction, Joy O'Neill. With merit, Stacia Whitaker. For the Postgraduate Diploma in Pediatric Nursing. With distinction, Castellina Clark Howard. With distinction, Marcia Gill. For the Master of Science Nursing. With merit, Sawyer Phillips. Nashida White. For the Master in Public Health, Dominic Bell. With distinction, Natalia Fevrier. With merit, Camille Lashley. With distinction, Brett Lawrence. Takey Linton. With merit, Sharon Stevens. For the Master of Science, Natural Resource and Environmental Management. With distinction, Kristen Clark. With merit, Kirsten Carbin. With merit, Joshua Dulwich. With distinction, Dina Hines. With merit, Jaleesa King. With distinction, Shernise Mears Springer. Carol Pivot. Kayla Thomas. For Master of Science, Renewable Energy Technology. With merit, Dekarai Taylor. For the Master of Science, Sports Sciences. Shalise Jordan. For the Master of Science, Sports Medicine. With merit, Chloe Thompson. For the Master of Philosophy in Biology, Gary Auguste. For the Master of Philosophy in Computer Science, Michael Mears. For the Doctor of Medicine in Emergency Medicine, Charisse Branch. Oh, sir. Okay. Sir. Sir, I now call on Professor Audrey Henry Lee, Pro Vice Chancellor, Graduate Studies and Research, to present to you members of our society for the award of Doctor of Education, Doctor of Medicine, and Doctor of Philosophy.
So, I present to you these members of our society who, having fulfilled the requirements of this university, have been admitted to the degree of Doctor of Education, Doctor of Medicine, and Doctor of Philosophy, and beg that you recognize their advancement in our society.
By the authority vested in me, I confer on these persons whose names are about to be called the degree of Doctor of Education, Doctor of Medicine, and Doctor of Philosophy, and recognize their advancement in our society.
Doctor of Medicine, Family Medicine, Griffin Benjamin. Gabrielle Boyce. Can I get the candidate's name, please? Cerise Branch, Emergency Medicine. Family Medicine, Shamika Myers. Doctor of Medicine, Internal Medicine, Alpha Augustine. Ebony Michael Grosvenor. Kadisha Moore. Doctor of Medicine, Obstetrics and Gynecology, Tonya Johnson. Doctor of Medicine, Ophthalmology, Kendi Griffith. Doctor of Medicine, Surgery General, Keisha Walks. Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Diane Abel Jeffrey. Noreen Augustine. Arlene Linton Jones. Doctor of Education, Teaching and Learning with Emerging Technology, Carol Jordan. Doctor of Philosophy Education, Janet Carew. Supervisor, Professor Canute Thompson. Thesis title, Leadership in Higher Education and Development, a case study of the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill campus, 2002 to 2012. This study explored the implementation of UWI's 5-year strategic plans at Cave Hill, focusing on leadership strategies amid ambitious reforms. It assessed how transformational leadership managed resistance, engaged stakeholders, and balanced innovation with sustainability to support long-term institutional goals. Doctor of Philosophy Ecology. I need to see the name. Place it down, please. Nadashini Parasmaram. Supervisor, Dr. Henri Valls. Co-supervisor, Dr. Darren Brown. Thesis title, Cataloging Biodiversity, the Bracuran crab, Crustacea decapoda of Barbados, West Indies. This dissertation provided a much-needed updated checklist of Bracuran crabs of shallow marine and semi-terrestrial habitats in Barbados, thus helping to guide future local conservation efforts, helped resolve a long-standing dispute of species boundaries between two sister Amphitrax taxa, and pointed to hibernization as a potential evolutionary factor influencing diversity in a group of symmetric calinectics. Is it? That's it? Yes. Doctor of Philosophy in Natural Resource Management. Daniel Everson, Supervisor, Dr. Janice Cumberbatch. Co-Supervisor, Dr. David Ince. Title of the thesis, To Drive or Not to Drive, How Can a Sustainable Mobility Transition in Barbados be Effectively Fueled by 2030? This thesis looks at the plans of the government of Barbados to decarbonize the economy by 2030, including improving transportation efficiency, affordability, and resilience, restricted conventional vehicle ownership, and use in favor of integrated multimodality was preferred as the most likely to achieve the largest greenhouse gas emission reductions using cleaner fuels, fewer and higher efficiency journeys alongside needed institutional disruption and behavioral change.
I now call on the President of the UWI Alumni Association, Barbados Chapter, Ms. Maxine McLean, to lead the graduates in reciting the Alumni Pledge.
Please stand. I will now lead you in reciting the Alumni Pledge, which can be found on page 67 of the booklet. Please repeat after me. As a graduate of the University of the West Indies, I commit myself to uphold the ideals and goals of my alma mater. My conduct and voice shall reflect the commitment to excellence of the light rising from the West as I fulfill my social and professional responsibilities and serve my community and region. I will strive to ensure the UWI's place as a Caribbean icon, the catalyst for Caribbean development and leadership. It is a legacy that I will proudly help build for future generations. The UWI, first in our hearts and first in our region. Thank you. Please remain standing.
I now invite everyone to stand as we join in singing the university song, which can be found on page 61 of the booklet and on page 22 of the online program.
University, all simple of our partners, our strength in unity. sons and daughters go to face the world of challenges, to conquer every foe. We'll work and play together, and as time marches on, we'll never forget the lessons that behold are we are one. UWI, we praise you, we lift our voice in song. We let our angels fall on and sing as they along. For you have shaped our lives so that we can truly say, to you we owe our gratitude. The debts we can't repay. There is a light that is rising from out of the west, and co-bearers of that light are we. So we follow those whose work has brought glory to your name, making a better world for you and for me. This is our university, all the West Indies.
This brings to a close the public ceremony by which the University of the West Indies has signalized the award of degrees, diplomas, and certificates to its graduates. The company will now disperse, but not before allowing the procession to leave. Congratulations to the class of 2025.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have enjoyed this morning's ceremony. We support your desire to create lasting memories of your graduation and therefore will allow 20 minutes for picture taking on the main floor. After that, this area will be closed to allow for preparation for this afternoon's ceremony.